Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content that I've been dropping, the direction that my channel was headed in? I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, alright? Now, today's topic is going to be called healthy detachment, alright? Healthy detachment. And the reason why I'm going with that video title is because like I'm at that point where I'm seeing a lot of progress, like with the fact that I'm leveling up, and I'm noticing that it's good that I've already made a mental disconnect to separate myself from certain things. And that's what I want to talk about, because I don't know, on my channel, man, even the people that I bump into like outside of this YouTube stuff, we all are like-minded. So it's like minds connect, and what I'm seeing with what they report back to me on their journey, I can even link that to what I've been experiencing. Y'all been kind of with me over this let's say year that I've had this channel, and I've made a lot of, let's say, big strides. And this isn't to toot my own horn, but it's just a fact of the matter that like you're the subtotal of your thoughts and also the people who you spend the most time around. And at certain points, it's necessary for you to kind of do an analysis of those things. Like, what am I thinking about? Why am I thinking this way? Have I been conditioned in a way that leads me towards average or mediocre results? If so, what can I now internalize in order to change my reality? Because if you're thinking different, then the energy you give off is different, then the way people respond to you is different. You see how, so it all starts in the mind. So that's one thing. Second, when you look left and right, who are the people that are around you the most? Are they also driven? Are they like-minded? Are they trying to, let's say, craft a life for themselves where y'all can now level up together and meet each other at the top? Motivate each other through your times of adversity? If not, then it's necessary for you to maybe have a healthy detachment, right? And in my case, I've been a lot alone. You see, like, if you guys remember the video I made, Solitary Assassin, the reason why I say that I've always been alone, and I made that video back then, is because I've always felt like distant, a little bit of an outcast, and I'm always alone, but I'm never lonely. So I think I've explained that in past uploads that I've done, but let me just rehash on that, like recap. I'm physically feeling like I'm alone even if I'm in a group full of people, and the reason being is that it's very rare that I bump into someone who has the same caliber or frequency of, I would say, quality thoughts that I have. This isn't to take a shot at anybody else, you know what I mean? This is just my own, let's say, observation. If I'm compelled to, let's say, read certain books and chase a certain level of self-actualization, and my mind is preoccupied with prosperity, growth, understanding myself, and basically being the epitome of the change that I want to see in the world. I've never bumped into another male like myself. Of course, you have celebrities and things like this that you can use as a template to be inspired by. But like on ground, in person, I'd like to say I am that guy who, when I come across other people, I might motivate them to take a higher road or to seek self-enlightenment, right? So I'm usually by myself, and that's whether I'm with people or not. And in a way, that's good because that keeps me from being too attached to a group or to be impacted by the thoughts of others, right? There's pros and cons in everything. So a con of that would be that maybe I don't, let's say, use my personality to get close to people. So I may come off as cold, or I'm always far removed. Like when I look at dudes who are in a gang and stuff, I'm like, I couldn't even imagine myself in a gang really, because I think too strong for my own opinion. And if I saw that we was doing some dumb shit, I would be the one that would probably wind up getting killed by my own gang, because no matter who tries to motivate me to do it, I would feel the need to stand my ground and say, fuck that, that's not a smart move what we about to do, right? So I'm too much of an individualist, too much of a thinker to ever really be part of a group where there is not some type of business or success that we're headed towards, if you guys get what I'm saying. So, like, long story short, I'm socially accepted everywhere, right? I've been in mad different groups or around different types of individuals, white, black, rich, poor, tall, short. You could put me up, feel like, anywhere in the world, and just using my ability to communicate, I'm not a bad looking guy. So it's like most people will find me interesting and I probably will find my way. Of course, you're gonna have some assholes that look at me and just automatically don't like me off rip. But by and large, I have no problem adapting to whatever crowd. But at the end of the day, I'm a solitary type dude who, even when we have a, let's say, good conversation, let's say I meet a stranger, we start talking, it's usually me who's doing the probing questions that gets that person to think about something. You know, I'm the one trying to pose, let's say, certain questions that person maybe never even heard before. So it will have an effect where I get to see how they think, how their wheels are turning. So, like, as I'm aging, I'm returning back to a childhood hobby, which is reading. And I'm realizing that books, pondering, let's say, the nature of reality or just the depth, the unseen realm, and self-actualizing, those are three things that make me complete. Like, it gives me salvation to know that I'm pushing for something. So there's a motivation every day to wake up and seize the day. So let's talk about some things that, if you feel where I'm coming from, you'll probably experience a point where you'll have to make the decision to be to make a healthy detachment from these things, right? Number one, emotions. All right, as crazy as that sounds, your emotions, like, how do you get detached from your emotions? The way I see it is, emotions are energy in motion, right? And a lot of us have programming that is keeping us from ever expanding out of that consciousness. So your emotions can pull you down, and unless you make a healthy detachment from them, you will never get the results that you're actually maybe fantasizing about. So let's say you have a person who, let's just make an example. You have a person who wants to be the first one in their family to go to a university and get a degree. There might be thoughts and emotions that this person has because they realize that if I'm the first and only one to do it, I don't have a template and I might not have a support system. So I'm gonna maybe go to the university in a state of fear or in a state of lack and feeling like no one else did it. Maybe I don't have what it takes to make it, right? It will be imperative for that type of individual to make a detachment from what their family set as a standard and only focus purely on the fact that this is the goal I have. I'm going to achieve it no matter what, right? But unless they can make that break that mental chain, they're probably going to wind up just like their family members and have maybe student debt. So that's a good example of like how you need to have healthy detachment, right? Also from certain outcomes. Like, I think you guys have all heard that there's basically 3 different mentalities that people tend to have. One is pessimist. This is the person who always looks at the negative and uses that as a gauge on how they're going to maneuver in their life. Then you have a person who's a realist. It's basically a pessimist is basically a pessimist, but they look at it in the nature of reality. They try to look at the scope of like a cost benefit analysis. What's a positive that can happen? What's a negative that can happen? And I accept that this is probably what's going to be the case. Like a realist, I'd say, is a step up from a pessimist, because they're not going to just look purely at the negative, but they will take it into account, right? And then last but not least, you have your optimist. This is the person who tries to keep a positive mind frame. They don't want to sit around and harp about negative. They don't ask questions like, well, what if? They ask questions, well, why not? Or how come? Or they don't say, I can't afford this, I don't have enough money. They say, how can I have enough money? Is there a way for me to still get it even though at this moment I don't have the money? Can I come up with a strategy on how to? See, so an optimist is always trying to get over, around, or even underneath a problem. They just don't accept that, oh, it's a problem, I can't solve it. Or, you see what I mean? So, positive, basically neutral, and then you have negative. In the first two cases, let's say the pessimist, like this person is this person is joined at the hip with the negative things that may occur, right? So I really don't see this being a beneficial mindset, because when I look at the people who are optimists, or even realists for that matter, they're going to gain more traction on, let's say, a goal than the pessimist will, because the pessimist is always chopping their own self down due to a thought that's going to limit the scope of possibility, because they're only looking at what will go wrong or how many other people failed before, so I'll probably fail too. So you're programming your mind to receive a negative result. It would be good for that person to have a healthy detachment from the outcome. Or even a realist. Let's say a realist has an awesome idea. They have a business idea that would definitely, they don't know this, right? But they have a business idea and it would definitely work. The world needs it. There's a huge demand for it, but nobody has really figured out the best way to bring it out to the market. Let's say the realist actually has the best idea right here. Due to their own negative self-talk, like the pessimist, they'll probably say some shit along the lines of, this probably already exists in the market, or, I mean, if I launch it, I can't really expect anything much. So they're gonna chop themselves down as well, even though it might not be as extreme as the pessimist, right? So it would probably be good if they would be detached from the outcome and just try to go forward with the idea and see what happens, right? Then you have the optimist, all right? And from what I see, positive energy always beats neutral or negative energy, hands down, bar none. Watch a podcast of a billionaire or a celebrity or anybody who like made it to some type of significant level in their field. More than likely, they have an optimistic mindset. They've been hit and knocked down maybe even hundreds of times. Like take the dude who, Colonel Sanders, the dude who created KFC chicken. It was said that he had to go to 1,009 different no's before he got his yes. There's no way that a realist or a pessimist would have got, let's say, that outcome. But the optimist was detached from the outcome. He knew this is a great recipe. I'm gonna keep pushing it out there until someone accepts it. So he wasn't, when he got the no, he didn't go, like, dang, they said no, and like let that knock him down. The outcome came 1,009 times later, but I'm pretty sure around maybe 700 no's, 800 no's, he might have maybe even briefly thought about it. But since he was detached from what was happening, and he knew that the end goal was to sell this brand recipe, he actually got it off. So, I mean, I took a little tangent on that one, but I hope you guys get what I mean. Being detached from certain outcomes. Or another thing would be like, let's say we're all going out to eat, or I'm with my boys, we about to go to the club. I'm a single guy, right? You got other dudes that they're focused on is the outcome of maybe meeting a girl, versus the dude who's just going out focused on having a good time. he's detached from the outcome of meeting a girl, so it makes it easier for a girl that he likes to actually sense that energy about him, not being so hell-bent on leaving with a girl, and he's probably gonna get the result that the other dudes are harping on. You see what I'm saying? Materials. I have a healthy detachment from materials at this point, because spiritually I realize that I have everything that I need within inside me. You know what I'm saying? Look at my environment. For all intents and purposes, I can literally start already saying I am rich. And that's what I've been doing. I am. It goes along with my video Formless Oneness, right? I have everything I need. I have money in the account. I have, let's say, this, that, and the third. And anything that I really wanted right now, I know I could go get it. But I'm detached from materials because I realize that there's so much more to the scope of success and being rich than just the ability to go consume some shit. So being detached from materials is something that I will find to be healthy, because you're not so tied up in a world that's all about consumerism and wasting and having an excess of everything. Oh, let me get the new phone, even though this phone I have is perfectly fine and it's paid off. Now you gonna go get the new phone just because it's out. I have a healthy detachment from, let's say, that type of materialism. Trends. All right, so this goes in the realm of like social media, right? Crowd preferences, what everybody's saying is hot right now, little TikTok challenges and, you know, stuff of that nature. Like, the way I look at it is, internally you have a gauge that's already telling you where to go. Most of us have a drowned out inner voice though, because we're too busy looking externally to get validation to figure out ourselves internally. But it's the opposite way around. Society don't tell you that. The more you look inward, the more you understand outward. And the more you look inward, the more other people start to look at you as a beacon of hope, because they see that you're not like the rest of these drones that they're surrounded by. They're probably a drone themselves, and they just don't know how to self-actualize. That might not even be a goal, because everybody's caught up in the, did you hear what so-and-so said? Oh, did you see the BET Awards? Oh, did you see what Nicki Minaj said, what Cardi B said? Oh, you know, oh yeah, did you hear the mixtape? Oh, did you see the versus battle? Like, it's all about stuff that's outside, right? And trends and whatever everybody's talking about. But ask that person, what do they want out of life? Literally, you'll see silence and it'll be a vague answer that could literally be attached to 100 other motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be successful. That's not very clearly defined. So how can the universe give it to you? Or, shoot, I'm straight. So you're straight. So that means you're not really pushing for anything. So how can the world bend to your will if your will is so vague and loosely defined? You feel me? Most people don't ask them how much money you want to be worth in the next 10 years. They can't tell you. So if you don't even know the exact amount of money you want to have by a certain age, I just really don't see how you could, like, let's say you won't measure up to the person who does know. I can definitely tell you that. A person who's headed in a direction and knows where they're going, they're going to make it there faster than someone who is just kind of floating. And that's what I talked about with rudderless ships. You need to define your goal, right? Define where you want to be. Define who you want to become. And start embodying the characteristics of that person so that you can already be him or her, right? So I have a healthy detachment from social media and trends and all the stuff that, whatever everybody's talking about, I have a real big desire to, like, stiff arm it, right? And last but not least, people. Yeah, I said it. You gotta have a healthy detachment from people, specifically the ones who are not growing in the same direction as you, or are not, let's say, feeding this desire that you have within yourself to grow and expand, right? So, like, it's like no love lost, but if we're on different paths, like, you can wish people well on their journey, but that should never take the wind out of the sails of your ship, because you know where you're trying to go. And anything that will slow you down, deter you, discourage you, or even plant seeds of doubt in your mind doesn't need to be around you, right? So I'm talking about people here. Sometimes it's good to have a healthy detachment from them, right? Whether it be family, friends, even your spouse, even your cousin, your sister. It don't matter who it is. Your best friend. You are in control of your life. Nobody's coming to fucking save you. Nobody. And nobody really cares either, if I'm being honest with you. You might have a big dream. People hear about it, it goes through one ear and out the other. They're not going to be up late nights working on it. They're not going to really care. When you become successful, they might reach out and be inspired or ask for a piece of the pie or whatever, but that's human nature. But for the most part, your life is totally up to you. So until you get where you need to go, you should have a healthy detachment from those things, all right? So like, comment, subscribe. I'll holler at you on the next one.